My friends and I may be podcasters, but if we succeed, we will be remembered as legends of DC.
Look up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's
The Krypton Report. Welcome to the Krypton Report. I am your host, Tyler, and here we talk about all things Kryptonian, the Supergirl TV series, anything from sci-fi to comics, anything with Superman and Supergirl. The Krypton Report is part of the Southgate Media Group's Legends of DC podcast, which you can find us on Facebook at Krypton Report, Twitter at Krypton Report, KryptonReportPod@gmail.com, and then you can find us at SouthgateMediaGroup.com. Also, you can find me, Tyler, at JTY Patrick on Twitter, as well as my lovely co-host and wife, Jania, at Jania Patrick on Twitter. On iTunes, and we ask that you please leave us a review if you can. Send us any feedback, let us know how we're doing, because we would love to work with you, and let us know how we're doing. Now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Krypton Report. It is me, Tyler, and with me is...
Hey guys, Jania here.
And we're going to be talking about the episode of Supergirl entitled Luthors. Now, right off the bat, when this episode starts, we get to see a young lad who has hair.
Yes, and who kind of reminds me of Bruce Wayne off of Gotham.
Yes, ironically he does.
Yeah.
And who is that young lad, Jania?
That is none other than Lex Luthor.
It is Lex Luthor. And then we meet Lionel. So they do use Lionel as Lex's dad, and I forgot to just double check my research here, but I'm not sure if Lex ever had a father up until Smallville. Like, I know he had a father, but I'm not sure if it was ever Lionel or not.
I was going to ask you too, so is it a thing that Lionel Luthor is bald?
No, I don't know. Like, it was in my notes because, like... it was weird that he was bald.
Yeah, I thought so too, because I'm used to the Lionel Luthor in Smallville, so...
And the whole thing about the bald was it was supposed to be an accident that caused Lex to lose his hair. And that's why he was bald.
Right. It wasn't like a family thing or...
I mean, it's not like... Maybe his dad was just a really big diehard Bruce Willis fan. And decided to go bald. Like,
Or Vin Diesel, whoever.
Nobody's a Vin Diesel fan.
Aww.
He just ends up in stuff people want to see. Joking.
I was a Vin Diesel fan.
Hey, he was great in The Iron Giant.
And what was it, The Last Witch Hunter or whatever?
That was a sweet movie. That was underrated,
movie.
but...
Moving on.
This isn't the Last Witch Hunter podcast, Jania.
Nope.
And so... we saw the whole Lionel thing, and we get to see that this is where Jimmy and Wynn learn that Alex is dating Maggie, which was kind of funny because they're both like, hey, what kind of guy is Alex dating? Blah, blah, blah. And then they come around the corner and they're both like, oh, like, did not see that coming. And then they're like, Hank's like, it's not my place to tell, but I can read minds. Which makes me kind of question, like, why he hasn't, like, you think anyone they encounter that they let into their circle would get a mind read by Hank?
You mean Jean?
By Jean. Like, why he hasn't, like, really done Mon-El's mind? Because we know Mon-El's hiding something.
I mean, I think that he's a very respectful person. So, I mean, in that sense, whatever Mon-El is hiding, I'm sure Hank knows about. Hank. You got me saying Hank now. I'm sure Jean knows about it. But, I definitely think that it's probably something that he feels like it's Mon-El's thing to talk about and not his.
I can see that. I mean, I love when Mon-El talked about the Undaxum, when people were in things, they would just public shaming, and that usually stopped criminals and repeat offenders.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be kind of neat, though, honestly, if Jean did something like pulled him to the side and was like, hey, I know who you really are, or something. You know what I mean?
I know your secret.
I know your secret. So we actually get that, Jean does read minds,
Poor guy without McGann. And let's see, we do get the revelation that Wynn cannot play pool despite his mathematical skills. He cannot physically play pool.
I'm terrible at geometry, personally, but I can play pool.
It's all 180 degrees, babe. Some form of it, 360, whatever. Pool I'm inconsistent at. Just like bowling. It just depends.
Yeah, no, I can't do bowling. All right, anyway, this is not the bowling podcast. This is a Supergirl podcast.
We do get a shot of Kara going to Lena as a friend during the time of Lillian being on trial and bringing donuts. Nothing says friendship like food that makes you fat and that you love it because it's pure sugar and joyfulness.
I mean, I don't know a person out there who a donut doesn't make them happy.
People who don't eat sugar, who look down on people who eat donuts, and snobs.
I think they dream about eating sugar.
They do exist. I don't know any at the top of my right now that I can think of, because obviously they've never had a fresh off the rack Krispy Kreme where it just melts in your mouth, literally. And if you go in there, they'll give you one for free to try. It's addictive. But we do find out a crazy revelation. What?
Revolution?
That's how.
I think you're tired.
I might be. So, we
Revelation,
find
yes.
We find a crazy secret out about Lena.
Oh, yeah? What is that, Tyler? Please tell us.
That she actually is a Luthor. She is actually the child of Lionel and another woman.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of saw that coming to a point, honestly.
And that they adopted her when her biological mother passed away.
I kind of feel like there needed to be a little bit more oomph as to why Lillian, doesn't care for Lena. Like, obviously, yeah, Lex was the natural born of the Luthors, but she also decided to adopt Lena. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't make complete sense to me as to why she would ostracize her.
Well, I mean, once again, is she being serious? Is she just playing an angle? I mean, we learn later on that she is serious about Lena being of Luthor blood. But there is one thing, and I don't want to jump around, but Lillian says we're the last two Luthors. They mention Lex being frozen, and they also make a joke about Lex being in prison. So where is Lex? Like, I thought he was in prison, but there's some couple of lines of dialogue in this that almost seem like he's dead. So I don't know. Like, it was interesting. There's like some inconsistency about with the different characters. Maybe nobody really knows where Lex is.
But maybe everyone, or no one except for Lillian. Lillian might have him, for lack of a better term, on ice somewhere.
Parents.
Yeah.
I did like that Jimmy called back to that Clark and Lex were friends. And that Clark tried very hard to always believe Lex, but eventually they just parted.
I really, really... They kind of alluded to it at the end where you're not sure if Lena is different or not.
Yeah, okay, so we're jumping to the end here, but let's stay on that. So we see, in the flashback, we see Lex playing chess, and then Lena joins him, and they start playing, and then we have another flashback at the end when Lena sits down in front of a chessboard and she does a move and takes off a piece, and it shows that Lena at a young age was very good at chess. So, like you said, like it kind of makes you think, is Lena really playing the long game?
Yeah.
Is she playing the long con where she's now removed her mother? Lex is no more. She's won Kara's trust and the people's trust. Is she really playing the long game here, or is it just all an illusion?
I really hope that they don't jump into the same boat as Lex and Clark, because I feel like that's just too parallel.
It just becomes girl versions of everything the guys do.
Exactly. And so it takes Supergirl away from being her own original character.
And it also just makes the relationship dynamic that a super, so to speak, is friends with a Luthor.
And I absolutely love Lena Luthor. I love the chick who's playing her. She's doing a great job. She's a character that I really enjoy. I love that it's a friend for Kara, not for Supergirl. And that gives us a different dynamic, too. So,
as soon as Lillian told Lena about the thing, I would be like, there has to be DNA of Lionel or Lex on file that she could do a blood test with.
Well, and she didn't need to, though, in the end.
Well, in the end, we find out that Lex had a chamber built that was a biometric lock, so they needed someone of Luthor DNA, and boom, it opened with Lena's DNA. Now, we don't know, they could play it off that Lillian set that whole lock thing up.
Right.
We don't know. But still, I get a blood test.
But, what was the whole purpose of her bringing Lena out there? You know what I mean? Because literally, her and her and Hank Henshaw take off when Metallo is about to explode. Remember that?
True.
And then they leave Lena.
Hey, we have to remember, if there's anything that Smallville taught me, you never know what the Luthors are doing. They're always playing a game.
Right.
So you don't know what you see is what you're getting.
Right, but it just doesn't make sense as to why she would leave Lena unless she was just done with her at that point,
Or it was all a setup that she wants Lena right where she has her. Gotta think manipulative. Because, that's why the whole point that Jimmy doesn't believe that Lena's innocent. Because, like you stated, we get the return of Metallo, or as Jania liked to call the actor,
Tom Hardy knockoff.
Second-rate Tom Hardy.
Yeah, definitely. He had the whole Tom Hardy vibe for sure, or the wannabe Tom Hardy vibe, because I don't think anybody else but Tom Hardy can be Tom Hardy.
Exactly. My first thought was when he got their kryptonite was, wait, where did that come from? Because Clark was supposed to have gotten rid of all their kryptonite. But because we find out that it's actually synthetic fake kryptonite, it was able to power Metallo, but maybe that's why Kara wasn't as hurt and as weak as she was the first time she battled Metallo.
Right.
It's because it wasn't real, pure kryptonite.
And we really shouldn't put anything like that past Cadmus, because Cadmus is so capable of so many things, and they have, so many different resources and scientists, and Lord knows how far, their strength extends, their power extends.
Yeah, this is Cadmus. They can do anything.
Right.
Now, another thought here is Corbin breaks out. He goes on the stand, frees Lillian, yada, yada, yada. But my big question of this episode is, do they really have a lot of street cranes hanging up in big cities? Because it seems like in every one of these shows there's a crane falling from the sky. We don't live in a big city, but you people out there who do, let us know. I need to know, do cranes fall from the sky? And so we see it. We see Maggie hanging out at the DEO. They're just cool with hey, we're a government agency that talks about aliens. People know aliens are here. The police can just hang out in the offices.
We're an underground government agency, yeah.
Because don't forget, when they go out, they still have to say they're at the FBI or the CIA.
Right.
They're not like DEO.
Exactly.
DEO.
But somehow it's okay that Alex's girlfriend knows about the DEO now.
And This is one thing that gets me. When Maggie shows up to interrogate Lena or arrest her, Kara speaks to her like, Maggie, Kara, Maggie. You know, this is professional setting. Shouldn't it be Detective Sawyer, Miss Danvers? Like, are they supposed to know? Like, is it cool that people know that? I mean, Maggie knows Kara's secret, but it's like, we're in public. Are people supposed to suspect that? You know, I mean, because Kara's sister is dating her, but...
I feel like that I could see Kara calling her Maggie, but maybe Maggie calling her Miss Danvers, you know. Because in my mind, at this point, Maggie's trying to be professional. She's trying to handle the situation.
Because she even says...
Kara is kind of being, you know, obstinate and not caring about the fact that, you know, Maggie is a police officer, you know, and not respecting that, I should say.
And I agree with you. So I just thought that was odd. Now, we do get Kara talking with Miss Tessmacher, and we find out that Miss Tessmacher and Mon-El's date did not go so well. Speaking of Mr. L here, Mr. Mono, you Mono. That's what I call him, is Mono. We're buds. Do you think him and Kara work well together? I mean, what are you thinking about the idea of them together?
Are we talking about relationship-wise with Mon-El and Kara?
Yes.
I think that out of every romantic interest they tried to throw in with Kara, I definitely think that Mon-El is the best storyline and concept so far. I never felt like there was a lot of chemistry between her and Jimmy.
That was a very underserved relationship. I feel like it was a plot line they got to when they got to the second season. They were just like, you know what? We really don't want to do this. Let's do something different. And that's why they killed it in one episode without it ever really going anywhere.
Yeah, and then the whole Wynn situation was just sad and completely expected. You know, there was nothing creative about that, in my opinion. The only other one
Kara's been to the Phantom Zone. Wynn lives in the Friend Zone.
The only other one that was kind of interesting was Miss Grant's son.
Adam.
Mm-hmm. But he was just a really bad actor. No offense.
Yeah.
Some people can act, some people cannot. He is one that cannot.
Maybe he was so good he was acting bad. Or that's putting too much thought in his performance that just wasn't that great.
It's one of those things like... You want to bring your friends and family in on a project with you, and that's all well and good. But sometimes you have to know where to draw the line, you know?
Yeah, in the sand.
Because if everyone remembers, that was Kara, Melissa's actual husband, correct?
Now ex-husband, I think.
Yeah.
She saw his acting, was like, crap. But we see inside this vault that Lex had created, and we see part of Lex's battle armor. He has a black mercy flower and an atomic axe. And you know what I'm thinking here? Kara's flying off to stop this. Why isn't Jean with her if they're going to fight someone who is a kryptonite bomb because of the fake kryptonite metal is going to blow? I'm like, why isn't Jean and her flying out together? Like,
there are actually plenty of times where I wonder why Jean isn't with her. So and maybe it's a personal choice for him, you know, because I definitely feel like right now we still have the tentative Jean Jones. He's very tentative about every decision that he makes to be more of himself. You know, I think that's still an inner struggle there.
Now, did you catch this? This is something I've been paying attention. In this scene, you have Alex yells Supergirl, Wynn yells Kara. Did you catch that? Because when she's at the DEO, she's always supposed to be in her Supergirl outfit, addressed as Supergirl.
Right.
In the public. But it seems like they're getting flubbed of who knows what, because we've already had one corrupt DEO agent. I mean, could you imagine if someone just leaked out that Kara Danvers is Supergirl?
Yeah, no, I totally
So I
agree
mean,
with you there.
it's supposed to be.
I didn't even think about that.
When she's at work, the DEO, she's Supergirl in the suit and everything.
Exactly.
But Supergirl saves the day, saves Lena.
Naturally.
And of course, that's where it goes back to Lena with the chessboard after her and Kara have a moment of being besties.
Now, I do have to say, I always find it interesting when and I get it, you have to have some kind of tension, but I always find it interesting in these shows, Supergirl or Arrow or Flash, when they try to act like that character is going to die, in a scene or whatever, or their life is in danger. I definitely feel like it's a duh, like they're going to be fine. The show is called Supergirl.
I mean, on Arrow, they could kill Oliver. Diggle can put on the suit. I mean, he's done it before. So, I mean,
and on Flash, technically they could kill Barry because now we have
Wally and Jesse running around. So, I mean,
yeah,
they ain't so hot. But Supergirl, I'm pretty sure she has to stay.
Yeah, she's basically it. Yes.
And then the episode ends where Kara and Mon-El are in her apartment and talking and being flirtatious. You can just feel the steam rising. And he goes in for a kiss, and then boom, he's blocked by Mr. Mixix-Pitalik.
Do you notice that every single time Kara goes to kiss a guy, something comes up right away? Like, remember when...
Shania, this is a family show. You shouldn't talk about that stuff.
When she goes to kiss Jimmy, for the first time, and he's at her front door, Jimmy leans in to give her... They're talking and everything, and then Jimmy, blanks out because of...
Myriad.
Myriad, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Kara.
There's a theme going on here.
Well, I mean, like I said before, it's interesting that when she just wanted to be straight Kara Danvers, she couldn't get a date. All of a sudden, she decides to be who she really is, Kara and Supergirl, and let people know. Now she's got 4 dudes she's had to fight off here so far.
Well, I think that plays into her being able to be herself.
Technically, if you end this episode, it's 5 dudes. So,
yeah.
You're right. It's her getting to be herself.
Yeah.
And not having to try to hide anything, and that's what attracts people to her.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing more attractive than someone who's confident, in who they are. And so she finally becomes confident in who she is, and of course she's gonna, have people who want to be with her.
And I mean, that's exactly right. So I mean, hey, little advice from us: stay confident, be confident.
Yes.
Don't be cocky and douchey, but just be confident who you are, and people will like you. This has been your public service announcement brought to you by the Krypton Report. So that wraps up this episode. Anything else you want to say about the episode?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it was a pretty solid episode. Definitely gave us a lot about the Luthors. I loved kind of how they left it ambiguous at the end for Lena. But I'm really hoping it's just another one of those teaser things, and it's not actually a legit Lena Luthor is a legit Luthor or whatever.
Oh, we almost forgot about one thing. We did get to see a sweet fight between Jimmy as Guardian and Metallo. Jimmy got injured, and Kara's still mad at Jimmy for being Guardian.
All right, she's got to get over this at some point.
Yeah, so how about you want to get mad at somebody, how about you go yell at Oliver for all the mess he made on his planet, and Barry's always trying to clean it up, and Barry's a little fanboy. But, that's another podcast. Until next time, remember, look up in the sky.
You can log in to Amazon through Southgate Media. Go to your Amazon account, and any shopping you do, a portion will go to Southgate Media. If you like our podcast and you just want to help out, it's a great way of helping us without having to actually do much of anything other than do what you do, which is just shop on Amazon. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,